Today we'll be looking at the Nepo instrument. Now before we can represent any numbers or perform any mathematical operations on the Nepo we need to look at how the instrument is laid out. If you notice, here on the top we have 3 rows of counters, and on the bottom we have 4 rows of counters, and they're divided by what we call a separation bar. This separation bar is really important because it's what gives the instrument value. Whenever the counters are moved and they're touching the separation bar, like so, it gives the instrument value. So that means if nothing is touching the bar, it has a value of 0. So let's go ahead and take a look at what each of these counters, what they mean. We're going to look first below the separation bar. This first column represents my ones. That means that every one of these counters represents a unit of 1. The second column represents my tens, which means that each one of these counters has a value of 10. The next column is the hundreds column, which means all of these counters in this column have a value of 100. And so on. 1,000, 10,000s, 100,000s, 1 million, 10 millions, 100 millions, 1 billion, 10 billions, 100 billions, and 1 trillion. Now you may notice on some images or some literature that pertain to the Nepo that these 2 sections right here are referred to a little bit differently. You might see that this column, instead of being referred to as the billion, is actually referred to as 1,000 million. And that this one is 10,000 million, 100,000 million, and 1 billion. Now the reason that is because the Nepo was created in Mexico. And in Spanish, trillions are actually billions, and the billions are referred to, like I just mentioned, 1,000 million, 10,000 million, and 100,000 million. So I just wanted to explain that because you may see some images and some literature that refers to it a little bit differently than what we're used to seeing in English, and I just wanted to eliminate any confusion that you might have. So that was pretty easy. Below the separation bar, the counters, we just need to know our place value. Now when we look above the separation bar, it's a little bit different. The value of the counters above the separation bar is place value times 5. What that means is this counter in this first column, which remember was my ones column, I need to multiply by 5 to give me a value of 5. 1 times 5 is 5. That means that each one of these counters in this column above the separation bar has a value of 5. This column is for my 50s, because remember below the separation bar these are my tens, so 10 times 5 is 50. This column is for my 500s, 5,000s, 50,000s, 500,000s, 5 millions, 50 millions, 500 millions, 5 billions, 50 billions, 500 billions, and 5 trillions. So most important thing that you need to remember on this top portion is that it's our normal place value times 5. So now that we know how place value is represented on the instrument, let's go ahead and show you how to count. So we're going to go ahead and start off easy by counting from 1 to 20. So I'll go over here to my ones column and begin. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't have any more ones, but I know that this counter above the separation bar has a value of 5. So I'm going to use this counter. But before I move this one, I need to return these, because if I leave them touching the bar, it'll give me a different value. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll drop these down again. 10, 5, 10. Now, I like to get into the habit, anytime there are two counters above the separation bar that can be simplified, I like to do that because it makes it a little bit easier to read the numbers on the instrument. So right now I have 2 units of 5, which equal 10, but I know that I have just one counter that can represent 10, which is right here. So I'm going to convert my 2 5s to 1 10. That'll make it easier for me to read the instrument. And I'll continue. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And I have 2 counters up here on the top, so I want to convert my 2 5s to 1 unit of 10. And I've reached 20. 10, 20. Go ahead and see how far you can count. So let's go ahead and practice representing some numbers on the instrument. Let's go ahead and start off by showing the number 7. I'll need 1 counter of 5, 6, 7. Did you get the same thing? Very good. Let's do another number. Let's show 14. So I'll need a 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now let's show 632. 632. I'm going to go over here to my hundreds column and start off by showing 632. Let's clear off the instrument and let's do another number. Let's do 7,172. That's 7,172. I should have 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 100, 50, 60, 70, 71, 72. And that gives me 7,172. All right, let's do another one. Let's do 52,641. That's 52,641. I should have my 50. Then I need 2 thousands. I need 6 hundreds. I need 40, so 4 tens. And 1 unit of 1. And that gives me 52,641. Let's do another one. Let's do 106,073. That's 106,073. I should have 100,000. I don't need any 10,000s, but I do need 6,000. So I'm going to drop down 5,000, 6,000. I don't need any hundreds because it was 1,000, 106,000, excuse me, 73. So I'll leave these the way they are. Now I need 70, so 50, 60, 70, and 3 units of 1. 1, 2, 3. And that gives me 106,073. Let's do one last one. Let's do 6,312,023. That is 6,312,023. So in my millions column, I need 6 millions. So 5 million, 6 million. I had 312,000, so I need 300,000s. I need 1 unit of 10,000, 2 thousands. I don't need any hundreds, but I do need 2 20s, or excuse me, 2 tens to give me 20, and 3 units of 1. And that should give me 6,312,023. So now that you understand place value on the Nepo scene, and we've practiced a little bit of counting and representing numbers, you can move on and start performing mathematical operations like addition and subtraction and multiplication and division and even square root. Thank you and good luck.